How's it going, everybody? Welcome to week, what are we at now? 15. So, yeah, this week, and then next week, and then last week is just kind of wrapping things up. So, it's coming right along. Yeah, hope you've learned a little bit about world history, and we're almost to like 1500 as well. So, yeah, we're just about done with this phase of world history. Just a couple things in the student resources section where you find this midweek check-in. I put some student announcements there. Get some history courses that you might be interested in, some internship opportunities that came about. I even put the link to the EO so you can take a look at that. And then if you're interested in joining the Merry Monarch Parade, HIST float, we're going to be doing that on Saturday. So, yeah, just a few announcements. The one thing is I also put in quiz 3 5 W's. So those are ones I pulled out from students. Those are that students put on there, and that's really what I'm looking for. I'm really going to be looking for those on the final. Kind of on the final. How can we put this all together? How can we expand things out? So things like Constantine, like a lot of people were like, oh, he founded Christianity and started a new city. Great, but that's like the beginning of this Byzantine Empire, shifting of the Roman power to the east. Part of the Silk Road, so expand on those things. So it's the idea of how can you take a term and expand it out a little bit and look at the bigger picture. So try to do that in the final. I'm sure you noticed the matching got all messed up. I have no idea, Lamaku, but I went back and regraded them, so no problem. Hopefully, but if do look back there, if there's one I missed, let me know. I'll fix it. And then this week we're looking at sort of nomadic societies, which again. There's people who live nomadic societies still to this day. It's not everyone lives in a city, urban worlds, or farming settled societies as well. So, yeah, and they've always been part of history. These people that live sort of out there, nomadic. A lot of them are herders, animal husbandry. As I kind of talked about the features of nomadic society. And the big one, Central Asia, was always a big center for this, and we've encountered some of these nomadic societies earlier in the semester. And then the one that really comes up now, around 1200, 1250 up to 1350-ish, are the Mongols. I gave a video there. The first 26 minutes, I think, really sort of capture the essence of the Mongolian Empire, both what it was and how the legacy of it today, especially in Mongolia, that it was this sort of coalescence of first these Mongolian tribes, or tribes that were in what is now Mongolia, unified by Genghis Khan, and sort of talks about the story of him, how his father was poisoned. He was then ostracized. He wasn't part of this clan dynamic, this sort of steppe diplomacy. Then he had to raise himself up. I mean, even his wife got kidnapped, and then he came on. I think the lecture talks about this sort of turning point is his best friend Jamuka betrayed him and in war, and he had to again flee. And then that's when he sort of reunites and says, okay, we got to like unify these groups. But then and he does, and he ends up defeating his friend Jamuka. But then afterwards, he's like, okay, we got to, instead of like just this ongoing killing, let's figure out how to bring this thing together, bring these tribes together. And he unified through the steppe diplomacy, aligned with the other clan leaders, really sort of integrated this meritocracy. We've talked about this before, that anyone could rise the ranks of the Mongols, irrespective of your clan affiliation or even status. If you were good, and you could join the Mongols, which allowed people to encourage people to want to join. And also spoils of war, and then expanded out there and created the largest land-based empire in the world. And then upon his death, it sort of broke apart into 4 parts. And then for the next 50, 60 years, these sort of offspring Mongol rulers controlled this vast area from sort of Central Asia, China. The Yuan dynasty and Kublai Khan is very important. And then even in Central Asia, the Abbasids, the Abbasid dynasty, Baghdad was one of these cities that were decimated by the Mongols. This new groups emerge even into what is now Russia, this sort of golden horde up there. So this is very interesting part of world history. And one thing I wanted to talk about, I don't think I mentioned this in the lecture because I kind of found out about it when I was doing some research, but it's a thing called Paisa, or paisa, which is sort of a Mongolian passport. So if you were part of this Mongolian Empire, right, you could get these passports which allow you to move back and forth across these vast distances, which things like Marco Polo did. With the Kublai, he was a part of the Kublai Khan court. So you can kind of see these that the Mongol Empire it was very destructive, but it also reconnected this Silk Road under the Mongol suzerainty. So we did that, and then we talked about also maritime nomads, and that that it's not just land based, but a lot of peoples and societies live sort of nomadic lives, harnessing resources from the ocean, the maritime worlds, moving around, following seasonal fish or seasonal products, bringing those to ports, acting as middlemen. The other side of that coin is this piracy, which I talked about piracy, and we know it happened in the Mediterranean. Also, particularly after sort of the Mongol Empire, the Mongolians try to invade Japan. And this kind of sparks this piracy movement of Japan. This is also when Japan is sort of broken up into various small daimyos. So a lot of different groups vying for that in the Yuan dynasty, not really protecting or being a maritime power. So, and then I gave a video of modern day sea sort of maritime nomads in Southeast Asia, which I think are really interesting to give you an idea of what that life was like. Even though it's a contemporary world, you can kind of see how these nomadic peoples move around and settle. So I think that's it. And then this week, just a discussion post. Put yourself in the Mongol Empire. Discuss what it'd be like in a clan within this Mongol world, what you would do. Or be one of these trading cities in Central Asia that saw the Mongols coming. What would you do? How would you react to that? So again, kind of putting yourself in the place of history. How would you approach these things? Use a little be creative, but also historically accurate. Right? No, like shooting people up with machine guns. Just try to put yourself there. Well, we'll use the course material to put yourself in that place. Right? Great. Have a good rest of your week.